were talking about expungement of criminal records. And we're doing this because a lot of people, sometimes when they're looking for a job, they're unable to seek employment because they have a background, a criminal background that they feel might hinder the process. And so this is an opportunity to help people be able to clear their records and be able to seek gainful employment.
One comment, please. If each of you would take this point, you are not what that piece of paper says, you are not what anyone else says, and you are not what that conviction says. Who you are today is not who you were yesterday or the things that you've done. There's no shame in what you've walked through. So if you deny that this happened, you've done yourself a disservice. And if it's discovered, that may then come back as a negative toward you. So you look at the credible witness. You are the credible witness for yourself. I did, in fact, have a felony conviction at one time, as this gentleman disclosed. But here's what I'm doing with my life now. And I'm giving testimony to the person that I have become, not the person that I was. I once was blind, and now I see. So give yourself the grace of being forgiven for what you have done, and then seek forgiveness from those who hold your record. But never deny your record. It is what you went through, but it does not bespeak of who you are today or who you are becoming. So never be ashamed. Never be ashamed. Always acknowledge who you are. And if you have a hiccup, or blemish, or cut, say so. Think about it, and if someone holds it against you and says that, this person is not reliable, I don't trust them, and so that's their opinion. And you go on to the next one. Never let someone else determine who you are and be a credible witness for yourself. So if you just take that into heart and understand that you are somebody and you do deserve a second chance because you turned your life around. And that's very important for all of us to understand. You want to be able to be licensed again. A pardon gives you that opportunity. You have a vocation that's going to afford you to better take care of your family and yourself. Why not? Seek the pardon. And as you've been told, if you are denied the first time, a year later, you can apply again. But be honest with yourself and be honest on these applications. You have a right to it. And remember that, please. Thank you.
Well, what I have to offer you guys is a pardon, okay? And a pardon doesn't erase anything. But what it does is it forgives you for the crime. The state of South Carolina won't forget it, but they'll forgive you, okay? And the good thing about a pardon is it's open to just about every type of conviction, okay? With the exception of minor traffic offenses. I think you asked about a DUS, driving under suspension. If you were convicted of that and you wanted it pardoned from your record, you are eligible to apply for a pardon. Now, before I get into the specifics about eligibility for a pardon, I just want to let you know a couple of things. First off, it's a $100 fee to apply for a pardon, okay? Doesn't matter how many convictions you have. Doesn't matter when they were, okay? It's a $100 non-refundable fee that you don't send it into my office. You send it into our Columbia office. Our Columbia office will take your money. They'll process your application. Once your application is processed, whatever county that you did the crimes in, they'll send the investigation out to the agent in charge of that county, and that agent in charge will either do the investigation himself or he will pass it off to a pardon investigator. This is Ms. Leigh Michelle Jones. She's our pardon investigator for Charleston County. She does all the pardon investigations for this county. Ms. Jones will take about it takes about 7 to 8 months for a pardon to be completely done. Now, the reason that takes, I know you're saying, wow, Greta said it only takes 4 weeks to get an expungement. Why does it take so long to do a pardon? Well, the reason we're doing the pardon is because it takes so long because we do a whole lot of crimes are eligible for a pardon, and we do an extensive background check on the person that's applying for a pardon. It's not just an application. You have to get community statements from people that know you, that are in support of the pardon. And we also have to check with the entities that placed you on supervision or that placed you in the situation to see what their position is. And we also, if there's a victim involved, we're required by law to try to find and contact that victim to get their input. And then that's just the investigative part of it. After you get through this and we get the pardon packet completed and ready to send to Columbia, once that's done, it gets processed again in Columbia. And then they set up a pardon hearing. Now the hearing, it sounds a little daunting, but it's really not. It's in front of the parole board. Several members of the parole board and our agency director will hear your case. You can have an attorney there to represent you, or you can represent yourself. And if you have a favorable outcome, they will issue a pardon certificate. They'll give it to you, and your crimes will be pardoned. Now, they will still be on your state rap sheet. But when you go to fill out a job application, you can't say, well, in that question at the bottom, have you ever been convicted of a crime? You still have to answer yes. But right next to it, you can say, yes, I was convicted, but the state has pardoned me for these crimes. And then you can use your certificate as proof of that. It's a good consolation prize, because if you can't qualify for an expungement, a pardon is a very, very good tool to help you get back to the state that you were before you got arrested.
And I like to call it's an extension of grace that's been offered to folks on behalf of the state of South Carolina. Not every state offers an expungement program, but it is a way to remove arrest information from your criminal record. Now, I put a note up there, it's for your criminal record and public search. So we'll remove it from SLED. It will remove it from FBI. It will remove it from clerk of court. It will remove it from the law enforcement agency. The job market out there right now is so tight, and they're doing Google searches and finding information from all different kinds of places. So there's advantages and disadvantages to both. And like I said, I wouldn't want to try to advise somebody. But always hold on to that expungement order, because that is your proof. Hey, the state of South Carolina expunged it. It is not a part of my record.
Absolutely.
So,
and I know you've probably said this once already. I think people just need to be clear, too, that you're saying even though there is an expungement that might have taken place, if someone another company has already pulled your records before the expungement, then that record is already out there and it's stored in somebody's database.
yeah, and South Carolina the state of South Carolina can't do anything about that. We don't know who all these companies are. We don't have an authority over them, I guess. I don't know that you can't find them, can't force them. But that's your piece of paper to say, here's the rest of the story. It has been expunged. It does not exist on my SLED record. It's not on my FBI record. It is not filed with any clerk of court, with any law enforcement agency. The state of South Carolina has wiped it away. But that's a tough question.
Well, I had a question. To me, the number one reason a person want to get rid of the crime they did is for a job. And most jobs, even if you serve your time and did everything you're supposed to do, they still going to say you still did the crime. If two people got the same type of application, they're going to go with the person without the criminal record, even though it's got expunged or whatever.
Well, I mean, if you get a pardon or not, an expungement, like you said, it wipes it off the record. But if you're in that situation with someone with a pardon, and you have a pardon and someone doesn't, then it comes down to your personality and how you deal with that interview. But to me, it's better than nothing. You know, if you go in there and say, look, I've done what I'm supposed to do, and look, I even went the extra step to get pardoned for this. A lot of times that plays good in the eyes of employers, because it shows you're trying to atone for what actions you committed. Because if you don't qualify for a pardon, there's really nothing you can do to augment your criminal history. This is the only vehicle that's out there that will allow you some sort of return to normalcy. And I would rather have one and be considered for a job than to not have one and know that I won't be considered.
All right, Councilwoman Johnson, I just want to publicly commend you for these sessions. I've tried to attend as many as possible, but I don't know of any other council member who does this on a monthly basis, and I think it's very good for the community because information and knowledge is power.
Yes, it is. Well, I think we had a really good turnout tonight, and it just shows that today shows that a lot of people are interested in trying to be able to get their records cleared. And once the records are cleared, they'll be able to vote. They'll be able to serve on jury duty, and also, of course, having employment is a great thing because we all need a second income in the household.
All right, thank you.